Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Chandra Vallabha Ivardhari. Gopi Chandra Vallabha Ivardhari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jayo Vishupad Paramahansa Paravikachaya Satali Sata Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Gaudi Vaishnavrinda Ki Prem Sagaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Samaveda Bhaktivedanta Ki Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glory to the Summit devotees. All glory to the Summit devotees. All glory to the Summit devotees. All glory to Sri Guru Sri Gauranga. Hari 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 Bol. Hare Krishna. So her, I know a little bit from Atlanta. His memory's starting to come back to me. New York. So, but we're all international society, Krishna consciousness, right? All the different flavors everywhere. So, like Krishna's pastimes are like that too. So many, not just one flavor, right? We have our favorite flavor, but you need other flavors too. So when you get your favorite, when you go, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So, Kishore Kishori Ki. Yeah, so all the devotees are starting to come. So I'm looking forward to seeing faces I haven't seen in years. I'm maybe we'll recognize each other because we were skinnier then. Younger. Now pain of baseness hurt. I said, wow. I was, just 18, 19 years in 1 month when I joined the temple and saw the deities. I said, young man, I could jump to the ceiling. Can't do it anymore. I can't. I'm actually gonna have to have some knee surgery. Maybe I can do it after my knee surgery. Anyways, go on to our next seva, right? Okay, so I'm used to spontaneous classes. Anyway, Prabhu is, I don't know. Something tells me that I should say a little something at least. Maybe he was asking about Kishore Kishori back in the day, so maybe a little of that too. We're into the Bhagavatam, Lord Balaram, Haribol, slaves root me. Not a lot of pastimes with Balaram, but I just had Panihati festival last week, I believe. Panihati Chitta Dahi. Not doing here yet, huh? Yeah, you need to get Japataka to come then. You invite him like that. Mars, can you come show us how to do it? Oh, they'll go right in the kitchen. Sweet. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya. Narancharam Narotamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Tojaya Mudirayet. Nashtapareshu Avareshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavaruttama Shloke. Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Srinvata Swakata Krishna. Punya Shravana Kirtanam. Hiriyanstoi Bhadrani. Vidunoti Suritsitam. So, text 1. Shri Sukha Uvacha. Ekakasata Krishnasya. Putram dasa dasabaya. Ajidana anavaman. Pitu savatma sampada. Ekakasata Krishnasya. Putram dasa dasabaya. Ajijanan ananvaman. Pitu savatma sampada. Ekakasa ta Krishnasya. Putram dasa dasabaya. Ajijanam ananvaman. Pitu savatma sampada. Shri Sukha Uvacha. Ekaikasasta Krishnasya. Putram dasa dasabaya. Ajijanan ananvaman. Pitu savatma sampara. Ladies, want to try? Yeah. Shri Sukuvacha Ekakasasta Krishnasya Putandasa Dasabaya Ajijana Ananvaman Pitu Savatmanam Baram Shri Sukuvacha Ekakasasta Krishnasya Putrandasa Dasabaya Ajijanan Ananvanam Pitu Savatmasambara Shri Sukavacha Shri Sukadeva Goswami said, Eka Ekasha, each one of them, Ta, they, Krishnasya, of Lord Krishna, Putran, sons, Dasa Dasa, 10 each, Abhaya, the wives, Aji Janam, gave birth to, Anavaman, not inferior, Pitu, to their father, Sarva, in all, Atma, his personal, Sampada, opulences. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami said, each of Lord Krishna's wives gave birth to 10 sons who were not less than their father, having all his personal opulence. Purport. Lord Krishna had 16,108 wives, and thus this verse indicates that the Lord beget 161,080 sons, or 1.6 lakh sons. Starting to learn the Indian counting system. Om Gyanata Ranjasa Gananjana Slakaya Chakshumiktamena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Yeah, and Mayapur, they're not very far behind you. Well, at least in the Russian classes. They're at the deliverance of Muchakunda. So we've been meditating on the Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, which are really the summum bonum of all his activities, right? There's unlimited, Krishna's expanded himself into unlimited living entities. So, you're Krishna, I'm Krishna, all of us are Krishna, but we're not like this Krishna, right? This Krishna can have 16,108 wives. We can barely have one wife. Isn't it? And what to speak of, each wife has 10 sons. So, at least in Asian countries, especially India, places, you'd be surprised. In China, everybody wants to have a son. And America also, but not so significant to have a son. But if you have one, you think, yeah, very nice. And I preach in China quite a bit. And the father wants the name to continue. His family name must continue. So without a son, that means it's lost. So they got to have a son. You'd be surprised how mad they have a daughter and they feel like, oh, I've been cursed sometimes. Anyways, so therefore, they mentioned he didn't have any daughters because, successful family means I have sons. At least in this material platform, it's like that. Right? I want to have wealth. I want to have beautiful, devoted wife or a perfect husband. Now people feel, oh yes, that's success. So you even see Krishna's Leela, Raghunath Das Thakur became Babaji, more or less, right? And the family lamented his father's Vaishnava, and he wanted to renounce and preach and all these. And father was like, no, no, mother, lamenting because they were so rich and opulent. So we see in devotee families too. Like, I know some second generation devotees now. My god brother Rama Kelly, his daughter has a son, and he's like, I'm moving into the ashram. As soon as I finish high school, I'm going to move in the ashram. You don't feel like, yes, success. No, why you want to move in? So even Vyasadeva, Sukadeva Goswami was in the womb 16 years, right? He hears the Bhagavatam. When he comes out, he runs away. Wait, my son, my son, my son. So, of course, later he sat down and listened to him speak Bhagavatam. Right? So this material conditions are there, but it can be Krishnized also. Anyways, as I mentioned earlier, though, the Krishna Leela, everything is like the Krishna's Leelas is like a brilliant jewel, the diamond. You have I've seen in the museum a beautiful gem. Most people don't own those things anymore. It's difficult to tell if the jewel is real or is it glass. But they think, no, it's real diamond. I mean, really beautiful stone. By itself is nice. But then when you put it on a gold setting, it becomes even more beautiful, right? So Krishna's Leela is like that. It says that we sing every morning, Nikunjayu no rati keli si daya, yayayu bir yuktira pensaniya, tatatri daksat ati valabasa, Vande Garoshi Chanaravinam. The spiritual master, he's very dear. Why? Because he's always working for the perfection of Radha and Krishna's conjugal loving affairs in Vrindavan. So, you go, well, that's interesting. How is that? Why is he all that? Because that is the essence of everything. Radha and Krishna coming together. That's the perfection. When they come together, that is the most perfect moment in existence. It is so wonderful and so tasteful that even Mahaprabhu, Krishna had to appear as Mahaprabhu so he can taste it. Isn't it? That's how great it is. So everything exists for that. Everything is for supporting that, for that moment. All the rasas are there for that. They're like the golden ring, and the jewel is Radha and Krishna. So these pastimes we're reading now, they enhance that pastime, right? You read these because we hear Krishna and Vrindavan. And a lot of detail is there, isn't it? They go so much detail. So many books. Jiva Goswami has written so many more details. Vishwanath Chakravarti gives in his purport so much more details about so many things. And then you'll see some pastimes are just kind of, right? Like after he kills Kamsa, and then now his mother and father, Vasudeva, his real mother and father, take him, and their mood is, you have to go to school. You didn't hear Yashoda and Nanda talk about Krishna going to school. Of course, he's living the Vaishya life. So generally, I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't think they go to school. because they're just taking care of cows or growing some things. Some Vaishyas do business, but they were cowherds. But when he went to Dwarka, you have to go to school. So they sent him to school, Sandapani Muni. And still, they had to go back. Nanda Maharaj had promised when the Krishna was leaving. That's a very key moment in the Leela. Akura taking Krishna from Vrindavan. They experienced separation from Krishna before, right? When he would go to take the cows, they'd feel great pain. It describes how they're cursing Brahma even. You made eyes that blink. What is wrong with you? How stupid could you be? You make us blink, we can't see Krishna. Such intense feelings. So what to speak when he goes off? They get up in the morning and they're waiting immediately. They're looking at the rafters. Says, oh, hey, Krishna, he's coming. They're going to go. Even Krishna, he's feeling like that too. He's walking and he noticed them up there. He's trying not to look because he's a chaste boy and they're chaste girls. They're not supposed to be lusting after one another. But sometimes he would catch the Aya Radharani and he would stumble. And his coward boy had to, what are you doing? Stop that. People are watching. So such intense feelings. But they know he's coming back in the evening. They know that. Because they can see, the dust clouds are rising in the horizon. Krishna's coming. He's coming. Okay, But then Akur takes him. They're thinking, no, you can't take him. When is he going to come back? They were thinking he's going to go to the city and there's all those opulent, beautiful city girls. We're just village girls. He's going to go there and he's going to forget about us because now he can sport with the beautiful women in Mathura. And so many things are going through their mind. But the essence of that Vrindavan Leela is I think it was Viprala, the mood of separation. So that has to be there. And in the material world, that separation is the worst suffering. Nobody wants to feel that. Right? Your lover leaves you. Your dear friend leaves you. Whatever. Nobody wants to feel, because that material world gives great suffering. But in the spiritual world, it is the highest ecstasy, even though externally it looks like suffering. So Yoga Maya has arranged for that to be there. Therefore, Krishna is the foster child of Yashoda and Nanda. If they were the real parents, he would never leave. Why should he leave? All right? But he has to go because he has his mother and father they need him there. And so many demons are there, have to be killed. So in this way, he has to go. And now they cannot demand he stay either. He's a foster child, isn't it? Even though they love him like he's mine. But so now these other leelas are coming into play. After Sandipani Muni, Uddhava sent. Because in Vishwanath Chakravarti's book, what's it called? Gopal Champa, something like that. He tells the story from the perspective of the residents of Vrindavan. What's happening to Krishna? Messengers are going back and forth constantly, giving them information what's happening. And surprisingly, after Gurukul, the pastimes are really rushed all of a sudden. All of a sudden now Jarasandha is attacking. Isn't it? There's a lot that happened between that because he wanted to know what's happening with the Pandavas. And so he sends Akura again to find out. But then all of a sudden now Jarasandha attacks. It was just very quick because there's not much that, how would you say, that those pastimes don't really enhance the pastimes of Vrindavan or really these that are occurring in Dwarka now. So Shukadeva Goswami doesn't go into a lot of detail, nor does Jiva Goswami. He just kind of skips over it too. He tells some more things in there, which are interesting. So you can see the mindset of Krishna. He's feeling separation too. The way these pastimes are explained in the Bhagavatam, you don't really see that so much. But in this book, in the Brihat Bhagavatam Rita also, the first part, you get to the last two chapters, and then the separation Krishna feels from the residents of Vrindavan is displayed. Great detail. So, anyways, some more, this pastime also, Rukmini is interesting because technically she's the goddess of fortune, but it's described that she assumes the form of Rukmini, which is no one is more beautiful than her. Not even Radharani. You go, what? Why? That is just why is that done? Because it enhances the glory of the gopis in Vrindavan. Because they did say these residents in Mathura, they are perfect in every way. And Krishna, he goes there. And even though he has the most beautiful, perfect wife, Rukmini, still at night he's Radha Krishna, Radha. And they're like, why is he thinking of crying out for these cowherds, women? We are, queens of Mathura. And he's crying for village girls. It enhances their love, doesn't it? Therefore, she's made beautiful like that. If they were more beautiful, then okay, naturally he's crying for them. They're more perfect, materially speaking, they're more perfect than these women in Mathura. So therefore it's made that way to show, because it's not just that part, but it's their devotion. And Uddhava's going, he comes back and he explains to them. So, because they don't know that. They don't know what is this separation from Krishna. And even Uddhava didn't know until he went and saw it. He goes and he's speaking to them. Don't you know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? You see? Why are you lamenting? Because devotees on that level, that's what we do, isn't it? When some trouble comes to, oh, Supreme Personality of Godhead, please protect me, save me, keep me a devotee, so many things. But the residents of Vrindavan, they never think like that. As a matter of fact, when Uddhava is speaking to them, especially the gopis, they become angry. Why are you talking to us like this? Why? Mother Yashoda and Nanda say, he's our son. What do you mean, Supreme Person of Godhead? This is our son. They never see that. Even the gopis at one point, they tell Uddhava, listen, why don't you go to the woods where those yogis, they're performing austerities to get freed from the modes of material nature? You go tell them this Brahma Gya. We don't need to hear this. It is like drinking neem juice. You take it to them. He said, no, don't even, you give it to Krishna and you let him drink it so that his love will break. But we will never break our love for him, ever. Go away. You see, it highlights. You see the Goloka Vrindavan. So the residents in Dwarka, Mathura, they have great love too, but not to that extent. It's still mixed. Even Rukmini, as we'll see later, even though she has so many servants, I'll fan, right? Just like when Prabhupada would come, I remember coming to Chicago, so so many big devotees, sannyasis, GBCs, all there, and we're all practically new devotees. But you want to do something too, right? You don't want to just stand there. I want to do something for Prabhupada. Besides, you just so they could easily take that chamra and fan Prabhupada, right? But they had little mercy. They would let us do it. So I remember we were this, especially in '75 when he came. There must have been 100 devotees or more there. So unfortunately, the ladies didn't get to fan. So, but anyway, the men were up there. You're close too. You can get real close. Oh, so effulgent, so skin, so perfect. Prabhupada was like, and it was like a baby. You look at the babies. That's what's fascinating about babies, right? They're so new and their skin is so fresh and effulgent. And Prabhupada was like, and you look at, my God, he's so soft and not old. Like some old skin is like hanging like this, dry. You feel sorry for them. Can I do something? Do you need some help? When you see old people, and Prabhupada was, wow, you're fascinating. Oh my God, he's just, and you're fanning and watching him. I don't remember the class because I'm fanning. I'm just, and meanwhile, Prabhupada's class was probably 25 minutes. He didn't waste time. 25 minutes, no questions. Out of there. So the line of the devotees like, come on, give me a turn, You're like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We may not get this chance again. So, till you get a few good kicks, and okay. So, yeah, even in the airport, saying I'm coming to the airport, we used to have that movie. You all seen the Hare Krishna people? The, the movie Hare Krishna people? So, that was, so we had the movie reel in those days. You had to set the whole reel up and let it play. And, almost every Sunday we would play it. You just watch, and you're serving, you're reading, wow, look at Prabhupada. But then when you're in his presence, that's a whole nother experience. A whole nother experience. You think you know him from serving and watching a movie. And then we went to the airport to greet Prabhupada, which I thought was crazy. Because, in Chicago, the police was so heavy on us. And we're going to have kirtan in the airport to greet Prabhupada. Are you crazy? They're going to arrest Prabhupada. That's what I thought. I thought they used to lock us up all the time. I said, now they're going to, oh yeah, we're going to get the big leader too. We're going to get everybody at once. So I'm a 19-year-old boy, not very intelligent, but anyway. So I was a little fearful. Why are they doing this? This is crazy. Anyway, we go in with the kirtan, 40, 50 devotees. We don't ask permission. We just go. Because it's Ohari Krishna Airport, right? So we don't need permission. And I remember the karmis are all looking at us like, you people can't believe it. Policemen are like, these people again? Why won't they just go away? And we're standing right at the terminal where the plane lands. Kirtan's going on, big umbrella waiting, and chamras and flower petals. It was like, it was a spiritual world, even all that tension. It almost reminded me of, maybe Krishna and Balaram going into the wrestling arena. Because you got the demons on one side, right? And the devotees on the other side. That tension was like that. So finally the plane pulls up, and then the They opened the door. Some Prabhupada came out first. Usually they gave him that much respect. They let him come out first. And then you see him for the first time. And he doesn't react the same way. Like say if Prabhu is coming to the airport, we go to greet him, or so many devotees are coming, you have kirtan. What do? You have to smile, isn't it? You can't do anything. Smile, or maybe you act like, oh, okay, I'm not really affected by all of this. But those are material reactions because we have false ego. Prabhupada didn't have a false ego. He didn't do any of that. I can't explain what he did. He had to be there, but he didn't smile. He wasn't, and you felt drawn to him. You just wanted to do something for him. And it was bewildering because he didn't react the way everybody else reacts. So you're just stunned. You just, wow. And you see his fulgent skin. He's walking like a youth, pop, pop, pop. Even though his body's is bewildering. So he's coming this direction toward me, and I'm stunned. Going, oh my God, it's probably Chamra going. And he turns to go down the hallway, and the policemen are walking on the side of him now. Just like they changed. Get back. Go up to it. Sir, here we go. And the karmis, they all just stunned also. Nobody was, oh, who do you think you are? Nobody. And he's made flower petals, shamra. The president doesn't get that. But that was Prabhupada's power. They all changed. And I remember those two policemen who saw Prabhupada. They didn't bother us anymore in the airport. They didn't become devotees, but they didn't, harass us anymore. So, anyways, this is the nature of the spiritual world. So we can only imagine here in Dwarka, this pastimes are going on now. Get to the good ones. Rukmini is arrived. So again, is nice in itself, like a gold ring is nice, but it enhances that Vrindavan Leela because you think, oh, he's got Rukmini, but what about Radharani? Right? Isn't it? In your mind, you should think like that. He's married Rukmini, but we know he loves Radharani. So how does that work out? Can she tell that he loves Radharani? They know. They all know. Before Krishna came to Mathura, everyone knew about Radha and Krishna and everyone because everybody gossips. There's always gossip. And it's highlighted when he came to Mathura, and they were, before they entered the city even, everybody heard, Krishna Balaram's here. They all came running. Oh, and now we can see him. We heard so much. Let's see him now. You see? And then when he went into the arena, they also were, oh yeah, I remember, that's him. Remember this, that. We heard this, we heard that, so many things. Like when we saw Prabhupada, you hear so much, you have an idea what he's going to be like. And then when you see him, it's beyond that. It's nothing like you imagine at all. There's nothing. So you can also see with them like that. So eventually, even Rukmini, they'll get to see the residents of Vrindavan when they come for the solar eclipse occurs. And all the Yadus come to do that material thing. And they'll see each other again. So the gopis are kind of like, the queens are also. Right? A little contrasting. Envy, jealous, but it's spiritual envy. Spiritual jealousness is not on the material platform at all, which it gives another particular flavor that you get. So, anyways, we can stop here. Shri Kishore Kishori ki, Shri Prabhupada ki. Glory to some devotees, Hare Krishna. Want to add something, Prabhu? Just something. Take this one.
I got it. I just wanted to express our gratitude and
I get bad hearing. I lost my hearing I'll get another one soon.
Yeah, I wanted to express, on behalf of the devotees here, our gratitude for you sharing with us this joy that you have for Krishna consciousness. It was very touching just to hear you. And
Prabhupada.
yes,
Coming back here too, it's been so many years, so naturally you feel like that, right? Isn't
yes,
it? Like
yes.
if you haven't been to Mayapur in a long time, the first day you get there, you can tell people who come after a long time. They're in the front dancing. Anyone there's been like many years, like, the new people. So,
Yeah, it's very wonderful. One thing, just a question from one thing that you mentioned was that that all these different we all Krishnas, but we're not equal to that Krishna. You started the class with that, and one of the things that when I was also reading the verse, preparing for the class, I was just thinking, well, there's this situation in which it says in the verse that all these sons of Krishnas are equal to Krishna in all respects. So the idea that this Mayavadi idea that we all Krishna, and we at the end we are we're Krishna. So it's this impersonal idea.
well, it says in personal opulence. So they're equal in that way. Like also Uddhava, is he such a great devotee of Krishna? He looks like Krishna. And the first time they saw Uddhava, they all confused. Oh, it's Krishna? Oh no, it's not. That's Uddhava. So just like we're also like Krishna, so we can make beautiful altar with Kishore Kishori, but we can't make a whole planet for. It would be nice to make a whole planet just for Kishore Kishori, right? Kishore Kishori planet where they're worshipped. If we could do that, we would do that, wouldn't we? Yes? A whole planet just for them. Everything is for just them. Now, Krishna can do that, but we can do like this. So, especially Kali Yuga, you know, this is pretty good for Kali Yuga. So his sons are kind of like that too. And yeah, some details that come out about a few of the sons. That's unfathomable, isn't it? That many. That's why people that read this, oh, come on, come on, how can this be true? You believe this? You believe this? Well, why not? Because the problem is they don't accept that inconceivable exists. But it does. I mean, just look at ourselves. Where did this body come from? Two microscopic little drops and semen and egg were put together. You can't even see it with your eyes. And this came out of it. And people are like, okay, well, isn't that inconceivable? I mean, how does that happen? Can you make a car like that? I just give you, you take two liquids, put it together, boom, Mercedes Benz comes out of that. Right? It's phenomenal. So if he can do this, then why can't this is small comparison to this, isn't it? Only in the sky, how much the clouds, you know how heavy those clouds are? If that cloud came down all at once, this city would be finished. It'd smash everything. Tons of water up there. And it's just floating. And just enough comes down, just as much as you need, unless you're being punished, then it turns into a hurricane or tsunami or something, right? It's a phenomenal. But people just go, yeah, it's clouds. And you see that every day. And then they hear this, and they go, nah, come on, come on, come on. How can you believe this? You idiot. People are unfortunate. So, anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but You get me going there, old Christian preacher, You want to say something too, Prabhu? Oh,
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dhanyavad. Dandavad Prabhu. It's nice to hear from you. Coming in contact with Prabhupada's associates who came in touch with Prabhupada. It inspires a lot in spiritual life. Uh, it's like in spiritual world, it's pure love. Material world, it's opposite, perverted reflection, lust, like that. Lust, what? So it's contamination. It's contamination. It's impure. Our consciousness becomes polluted. The contamination is very strong in this material world. It says when a person who is in Raganuga Bhakti,
the person is
Raganuga Bhakti,
okay.
very elevated stage. Conditioned souls are struggling with different degrees of lust, greed, anger, pride. Pride is an obstacle in spiritual life. So nobody's free from that. But it says unless you don't come in contact with a Mahabhagavat, it's a Mishra
Oh,
Bhakti.
pure devotional service. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be Mahabhagavat.
it's a Mishra Bhakti. Uh, so you were fortunate to come across great soul Srila Prabhupada, and we were inspired by Prabhupada's disciples dedicating their dedication to Srila
Me
Prabhupada.
too. That's
Uh, so can you elaborate on this little on Raganu Bhakti and conditioned souls struggling in this world with all this anartha is doing Mishra Bhakti?
I don't know. I don't think we should really think so much in terms of Raganuga and all these things. That's not important. You know, if you, it's like, if you look at Prabhupada, ISKCON, and the way he has led us, and you look at how he performed his service, you never hear him talk about Raganuga and all these things because it's not important. It's kind of, that's maybe on a, maybe internally he might, but when he's with other devotees, he was so fixed on the mission, which is to also ultimately to please his Guru Maharaj. Prabhupada was more of not on the, I can't remember, like say Sadhana Bhakti level. You have Kripa City and Sadhana City. Sadhana City, you have all these little steps, all these things you have to do, and you try your best not to make a mistake and do them perfectly so you can, and Kripa City, he leaps immediately to the pure devotional platform because he's trying to please Guru. And he may make all kind of mistakes and not do anything perfectly. But the Guru can be pleased with him despite all that. So it's much easier on that side. So on that side, if we take Prabhupada's mood, he was just absorbed in trying to expand Krishna consciousness, which is practical because even materially speaking is satisfying. What to speak of spiritually speaking, you know? Everybody needs to have goals in life that you can accomplish, and then you feel good. So you need realistic goals. You don't need to say, well, I'm going to build a brand new temple in Chicago somewhere. Okay, come on. Maybe you already have a lot of money, you can say that. But if you don't have any, then why say that? But we find whatever's being spontaneously coming in our heart because we're all getting inspiration individually to do different services. Somebody wants to make garlands, somebody wants to manage, somebody wants to this, somebody, and then we get confirmation of that from Shastra, Guru, Sadhu. Yes, do it, do it, do it. And then we do it, and when we accomplish it, we feel great. Just like the devotees are putting together, I was thinking, my God, they're putting this has got to be the greatest headache to bring all these devotees together. It's not an easy thing at all. I've done festivals. And we're to speak of these kind of festivals because everybody's got a different opinion. How do you manage that, You don't know what we were like back in the 70s. We came from all different kind of backgrounds, you know? And in our material background, none of us would have been together. But now we're in the temple together. So, of course, there's going to be some disagreements, but we have to keep the center, which is like, during World War II, America was segregated, so many problems, right? Black people can't do this, they can't do that, they can't do this. But as soon as the war started, they dropped all that because they knew we need everybody to fight. Yeah, let them fly airplanes, let them get on the front line and shoot guns, and everybody appreciated it because they were all motivated to win the war. You see, that broke all the problems. So in the same way, Sankirtan what can unite us if we focus on that and we all work together for that. So anyway, back to your point is again about Raganuga is if you get more absorbed in this practical part, like this temple, in one sense is a burden, and another sense is a blessing because there's a lot of service, right? There's a lot, and he's meditating on it all the time because he's got position. So that's a blessing because even though he's thinking about it, he's always thinking of Krishna. He may not be thinking of these pastimes, but he's thinking of this, which is just as good. And in Prabhupada, he wasn't always thinking, Krishna and Vrindavan, and he's doing. He was, how many books were sold? What's happening in India? That's what he was thinking. Even when he was leaving his body, what was he doing? He was translating. He wasn't, oh, Radha, Krishna, when I'm coming to you, please, oh, where's Krishna? Oh. He didn't do that. He could have, but he was so fixed. That shows that, so that's what we have to cultivate. Practical, you know. Any extra money I have, spend it on the temple. Don't save it for the future. Any time I have, use it for the temple, You get like that, then when you read these pastimes, then it becomes Raganuga. But you don't have time for Raganuga because we have this to do. So who's got time for that? If you want Raganuga, go to Mayapur. Everybody's trying to be Raganuga. Because, what's there to do? That's the place for that. Vrindavan and Mayapur. It's easy to be like that. But we're in the West. You have on the front line of the war against Maya. So we have to put all those things aside and think, what can I do to expand here and be very specific here in Chicago? Kishore Dam, we're here. Let's figure it out and let's work together despite our differences and have some success so that when Prabhupada will come to you at night in your dream and say, thank you very much. That's what you want, isn't it? And you want Prabhupada to say that to you? Thank you so much for that service. Now, does that feel better? That's what we cultivate.
Sorry.
That's our Raganuga.
I get your point that we get absorbed in our service, whatever inspiration we get. But it's like Mishra Bhakti, it's mixed devotion.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what it means. Raganuga be mixed too until you get to the next stage of where it's firmly fixed, firm faith. Then comes Bhava. Bhava and Prem are practically the same. So I dare think Krishna, he doesn't give us those things because you know what will happen? We'll stop doing this regular service. We'll just, when you're in Bhava and Prem, there's nothing to do but feels lamentation like you read with the gopis. They were so much separation that if you went to, when Uddhava went to their home, it was a mess. Nobody was doing anything. The river Jamuna was dried up like this, even. The Jamuna was feeling separation. Because they thought, let us drown ourselves. We will die. I can't take this anymore. They go to the Jamuna and it was dried up. They couldn't kill themselves. So, anyways, yeah, switch over we get Prabhupada's mood of being Krishna conscious that way. And these other things, as you advance, you can discuss them and all, but they're not that important. How many years? How old are you?
Me 59.
Okay, so maybe you got 30, 40 more years. And then after that, it's eternity. So after 40 years, you can, all those things. Like Kirtananda used to say, work now, samadhi later. Put all that aside, don't worry. Prabhupada's he's gonna get your back. When you're ready to leave your body, all that stuff will come instantly. You'll go through it in 2 seconds. Raganu, Nishamanu, Bhagavad, pray, back to Godhead. All right, now we want to make that man sell us that building. I heard about that building. I was thinking today. I know how you can get him. I know you can get him to sell it. There's a way you can get him to do it. Oh yeah, yeah. I felt some came to me. I said, oh yeah, this will get him. I'll tell you afterwards. We need that building. We always wanted that building. I don't know why Krishna, when they got this building, this rascal bought it before we could, thinking that he's going to make a profit on us. But we never bought it from him. So, material world, so always a challenge. So you all get to solve that problem. We can stop here. All glory, Shri Guru, Shri Guranga, Hari Hari Bol.